For the Sigma man going through depression, it often comes with its own set of struggles and their own personal ways of coping with the depression. While each individual is unique, certain things can sometimes help the Sigma who is going through depression, or depressive thoughts and feelings. When they are down and struggling, they often turn to the same habits which may have gotten them there in the first place. It is important for Sigma males to take a step back, and sometimes approach what is going on from a different angle. Rationalizing their emotions. Sigma men have a tendency to rationalize everything, which can be difficult when it comes to enduring depression. Depression is not always spurred from rational thoughts, and sometimes it comes seemingly out of nowhere. They will often try to analyze what they are going through, tracking why it happened, in hopes of finding a solution. While this can sometimes be helpful for them, there are instances where they may not always find the answers they want. Sigma males can spend so much energy rationalizing their emotions, that they then seek to bury the ones which don't make sense to them. When they sometimes do not have concrete answers, they find themselves becoming truly frustrated and trying to turn away from these irrational feelings or thoughts. They don't really care to focus on emotions as much, since they understand logic and facts much more. When they are faced with these internal and sometimes emotional struggles, they might want to find ways to rationalize them and move on. When they cannot seem to do this, it becomes more frustrating for them, and so after they are done analyzing, they might need to find other methods of overcoming those sometimes irrational feelings inside. Isolation can make the situation worse. The biggest thing Sigma needs to remember is that they should not alienate themselves completely. They need plenty of space and time to themselves, but that doesn't mean they can be alone constantly. Everyone needs some sort of human connection, even if they don't fully want to accept or admit this. It is simply a requirement of being a human being, and so for the Sigma, alienating themselves from this basic need is something which can cause them to feel more depressed than they realize. When they separate themselves from people, they find it much more comfortable to be alone, but that doesn't mean their comfort zone is really bringing them a sense of inner peace. Sigma men need to find people they can trust, people they can truly connect with. Feeling misunderstood is often a reason they disconnect from people, wanting to distance themselves to avoid depressing boringness. This makes it challenging for them to open up to people, since not everyone easily understands where they are coming from. This is especially difficult when a Sigma does want to connect, but also needs space when they are feeling socially drained. They need to be around people who can give them space when needed, without making them feel guilty for this. For the Sigma, sometimes finding social settings which don't require as much interaction, and don't leave them feeling drained, is truly important. The right people will understand their need for less crowded environments, or situations where they have to constantly entertain people who exhaust them. When Sigma men are around someone who doesn't leave them feeling this sense of exhaustion, they can often find this connection to be rewarding and truly important. They do want to feel connected to people, but because they have a rare personality type, they just struggle to find the right people. It is important for them to take a step back sometimes, and stop alienating themselves to such a severe degree that it leaves them feeling lonely. If they are struggling with depression, they might need someone there who can just listen and show their support during this time. Using habits as a means of battling depression. Sometimes, Sigma men can get into habits which aren't all that healthy for them, like remaining inside for long periods of time. They enjoy doing research and focusing on certain hobbies, but keeping them constantly indoors can be a negative thing for them. They need to start breaking some of these habits, and often benefit from seeking exercise of some kind. They may not naturally be connected to their physical selves, and this can cause them to neglect some of their needs. When they start to focus on a daily routine of exercising and getting out of their home, it can really help them reconnect to their bodies and the world around them. While this might seem like a small step, it can be something which truly helps the Sigma who is struggling. When they are feeling depressed, they often need time away from their routine, and develop some healthier habits and make them feel less stuck. Exercise is often an important thing for Sigma men, as it helps them in physical and emotional ways. It can even be beneficial for them to have a friend they work out with, since this is like killing two birds with one stone for them. Having someone they can spend some time with and get that connected they need, who also helps motivate them to maintain these positive habits in their lives. Self-care. For Sigma, self-care isn't always the easiest or most natural of things, but it is certainly important. For them to get back into a healthier state of mind, they need to take the time for themselves. They often prioritize other things, and find themselves burying their own physical and emotional needs for long periods of time. Learning to rearrange their habits and develop new ones is an important step in learning proper self-care. They need to understand in a logical way how important tending to these needs really is for their own well-being. Logic makes it more confusing sometimes. When the Sigma males are feeling depressed, they often try to find a logical answer for what is going on with them. Their logical minds can be useful in so many ways, but when it comes to emotions, it can trip them up sometimes. They will find themselves feeling overwhelmed, but will want to come up with ways to understand their problem in a much more direct and factual manner. Often this isn't the easiest of tasks, since the depression can be something which comes out of nowhere, and doesn't necessarily have clear answers or solutions. The battle between the heart and the mind is a constant one for them, and they often try hard to lean towards their logical minds. While they want to analyze the situation and figure out the facts, sometimes depression is not so simple and easy to comprehend. When they are depressed, they can dive into this analytical mode, but sometimes this can make those feelings even worse when the Sigma seeks to bury them in favor of logic. Important. It is important to remember that depression can be a clinically serious issue, and that you should always seek professional help when you are struggling with it. While it is nothing to be ashamed of, depression is very real, and it is important to seek help in a professional sense, rather than just doing your own research. These bits of advice are intended for people going through minor depressive feelings, and have likely already sought professional help. They are meant as small tools and ways of helping to improve your mental state.